Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on Spectrum News 13. I'm Asher Wildman. Time now for your top stories and weather in 90 seconds. Today is the day to get rid of those unused and expired medications. Multiple agencies are taking part in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. This initiative gives you a chance to drop off prescription drugs you no longer need, and it also prevents them from falling into the wrong hands. Young Floridians who are trans and gender diverse may no longer be able to receive gender-affirming care in the state of Florida. The Joint Legislative Committee of the Florida Board of Medicine held their meeting yesterday. The committee's decision will go to the full board for a final vote at a later date. And thousands of vessels remain displaced a month after Hurricane Ian slammed into the coast of Florida. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission reports that the hurricane displaced more than 7,000 boats. So far, officials say they have assessed about 2,100 of those vessels. Now here's a check of your Clayson 13 forecast with Central Florida's team of weather experts.
And a happy Saturday to you as we work our way into our Saturday afternoon and beyond. A stray passing shower is possible. Otherwise, we can expect partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 80s. Looking ahead towards Halloween, likely to stay dry and warm as the dry season runs its kind of weather pattern for the next week across Central Florida. Here's a peek at this afternoon. Temperatures gradually warming into the low to mid 80s for daytime highs.
If you have old, expired, or unused prescription drugs sitting in your medicine cabinet, now is the time to get rid of them. Today is National Drug Take-Back Day with locations all across the U.S. participating, including right here at home. Our Celeste Springer joins us now from HCA Florida Baldwin Park Emergency. And Celeste, you say last year was relatively successful.
Yeah, according to law enforcement, they collected over 700,000 pounds of prescription medication last year. Now, as for this year, here's what you got to do to be able to turn in yours safely and effectively. There's several locations for Drug Take Back Day all across Central Florida. This provides a better opportunity for people to get rid of medicine safely rather than holding on to it or flushing anything down the toilet.
Marion County deputies say a 2-year-old girl may be in danger. They're trying to track down her and her parents. Take a close look at Leah Jolene Risner. Deputies say they are worried about her safety after someone in her family's home died of an overdose last month. The Department of Children and Families reports Leah's parents, Melvin and Crystal Risner, have been avoiding contact with them. The toddler was last seen with her mom in a blue Ford SUV with Florida tag QBYK34. If you see them, you're asked to call 911. Decision 2022, Election Day, November 8th, but today is your last chance to request a vote by mail-in ballot for the midterm elections. You have until 5 p.m. today to submit the request. Orange County Supervisor of Elections Bill Cowles is urging everyone who's requesting a vote by mail ballot to mail it out as soon as you can.
The key thing on the vote by mail is after this weekend, time gets short for mailing it. So if you're going to mail it back in, do it now and don't wait.
You can also drop off your vote by mail ballot at a secure ballot intake station. Those are located at all early voting sites. The first week of early voting has seen more than 17.5 million ballots submitted so far, but that's all across the U.S. Here's a closer look at some numbers right here in Central Florida. Brevard County, hello, voters strongly heading to the polls. More than 22,500 ballots have been submitted. In Sumter County, just over 16,000 ballots have been cast early. In Osceola County, just over 8,000 ballots have been submitted. More than 3,000 Orange County voters have cast their votes. Several agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, are warning about violent extremists unhappy with election results and how they may act. The government sent its intelligence assessment to state and local officials, but admits it does not have any credible evidence of a specific attack. Remember, you can take Spectrum News with you on the go as we approach Election Day. Download the Spectrum News app to keep tabs on all of our top political stories and make sure you're informed before you head out to the polls. If you drive in Brevard County over the next week, use caution. Brightline high-speed trains will be testing at speeds up to 79 miles an hour. The testing corridor ranges from Sharps through Cocoa down to Rockledge along a 13-mile section of track spanning 18 railroad crossings. Flaggers will man all crossings until 6 p.m. Saturday, November 5th. Drivers are reminded not to stop on the tracks. Don't do it. Don't drive around the crossing gates and only cross at a designated crossing.
So it's going to mean additional wait times for folks. So we ask for everyone to be patient. It's only a matter of minutes. It's not worth trying to beat a train. It's not worth your life.
Brightline has updated all 50 railroad crossings in Brevard County spanning north to south. Trains are expected to increase to 110 miles per hour in February. Supply chain shortages, oh brother. From cleanup to rebuilding, how the aftermath of Hurricane Ian may push the nationwide shortage of building materials even further.
And a 9/11 on this Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Zach Covey. Thanks so much for joining us and starting your Saturday here on Spectrum News 13. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what the weather is in your area, because we have a wide range of weather conditions happening right now. For example, this is our Weichert Realtors Hallmark Property Skycam in Orlando. A lot of cloud cover right now. That is some low-level cloud cover, a little bit of fog still across the area as temperatures stay in their 70s. Melbourne, though, some sunny skies there, at least for now. We're also tracking some showers. If you're up in Flagler County, Klystron 13 scanning the skies there, picking up some of that shower activity from Palm Coast South through Flagler Beach along A1A, moving towards Bunnell and portions of the US 1 corridor. Then you head farther south into southern Brevard County, very close to the border of Indian River County. And while Melbourne is nice and sunny for now, there's that next line of showers and storms working their way along A1A towards Malabar and eventually towards I-95 in West Melbourne. Hey, looking ahead towards next weekend, more of the same. It's the dry season after all, with partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 80s.
Many businesses across Central Florida are still cleaning up from floodwaters and storm debris from Ian. Loftman Lakeside Restaurant in Mims is now able to be reached by car once again, although the road leading up to it, well, it's still underwater. The owner of the restaurant is currently planning how to reopen and assess how much repair work is needed.
Really wondering how much it's going to take to put it back together and how bad the floors are going to be and how bad the smell might be. To be honest. Looks like a bomb went off in here. Really, I mean, it's just gross. It stinks and the mold is kind of discouraging.
Business owners like Reichman are now waiting and hoping that aid from the U.S. Small Business Administration comes soon so they can get business back on track. I was able to go to Fort Myers and also Estero Island. I know it's going to be a long haul to rebuilding, and rebuilding in Southwest Florida after Hurricane Ian could have a ripple effect, but potentially adding to the shortage of building materials already across the state. Supply shortages have affected the construction industry since the pandemic, and most recently there's been a shortage of concrete, which is leading to higher prices and construction delays. Spectrum News 13's Trevor Pettiford has the details. Hurricane Ian was one of the deadliest hurricanes that hit Florida, and we've put together an in-depth special for you called Hurricane Ian Path to Recovery. It'll include a look at the progress and the challenges that many local communities still face. Watch an encore presentation later today at 4 o'clock right here on Spectrum News 13. Just ahead here on Spectrum News 13, enjoying sweet tunes for a good cause, where you can jam out to some country music while benefiting breast cancer research.
Spectrum News 13 is brought to you by Fun Spot America, where it's always huge fun.
Here are your winning lottery numbers.
21 past the hour, and I'm meteorologist Zach Covey. Thanks for joining us here on Spectrum News 13. Over my shoulder, you're taking a look at the state of Florida, which has largely been pretty dry today, but it depends on where you are in the state of Florida, which will determine your kind of forecast for the Saturday. See, across central Florida, we're wedged between drier air to our south and much more moist air to our north. And you can actually tell because that moisture, that cloud cover, that shower and storm activity is sliding into northern panhandle, all courtesy of that, a spin over the state of Texas. That is a large cutoff low, cut off from the main jet stream. That's how it gets its name to the north. That cutoff low helps to develop a surface low, drawing Gulf of Mexico moisture out of the south and towards the north, which is lofting it towards the Florida panhandle and parts of northern Florida's peninsula as well. However, as that storm system works its way into the northeast by Sunday and Monday, that cold front falls apart, and the moisture associated with that front will also fall apart. There's a look at 7 days staying dry Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, with temperatures building into the upper 80s.
Destination Space News. SpaceX hopes to launch its Falcon Heavy rocket on Tuesday after they completed a successful static fire test last night. It is Halloween weekend. So much going on around town.
We've been talking about all these different Halloween events and haunts that have been happening in Central Florida and Tampa area.
And the previews of the previews of the previews.
Yeah, and we're finally getting to the end of that season.
Yeah.
Theme parks.
Oh, man. Well, it is the final days of the spooky season. Ashley Carter and Allison Walker are talking about what's in store for Howl-O-Scream and other Halloween happenings. This week's Attractions Insider podcast is now available for you wherever you listen to your podcasts. You've likely seen those viral social media posts warning about fentanyl in your child's Halloween candy, but how real is that threat? Why some experts say the message may actually be politically motivated. Welcome to Spectrum News 13. Happy Saturday. I'm Asher Wildman. Time now for your top stories and weather in 90 seconds. Today is the final deadline to request a vote-by-mail ballot for the midterm elections. You have until 5 p.m. to submit the request. It must be returned, though, to the supervisor of election by 7 p.m. on Election Day. Flagler County's FEMA Disaster Recovery Center is opening today. It's located at the Flagler County Fairgrounds in Bunnell. Parts of the county are still recovering after Hurricane Ian caused damage across the areas. The Recovery Center is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. And Floridians impacted by Hurricane Ian can get 3 months of free therapy. BetterHelp is offering the free online sessions through the Florida Department of Health and Florida Department of Children and Families. Just go to betterhelp.com/voucher to get matched with a mental health professional. Here's a check of your Clystron 13 forecast now with Central Florida's team of weather experts.
And a beautiful start to our day, although there was some fog earlier in spots. This is what our time lapse looked like there on the Cocoa Beach camera over there. Bogan Mun's camera at Cocoa Beach Shepherd Park. A little bit of some visibility concerns, but those were mainly across the interior spots. Now that the fog's lifted, it's all about partly cloudy skies. Temperatures warming into the low to mid 80s for daytime highs.
Heartbreaking now, but for a second time this week, a Central Florida high school community spent homecoming night honoring a high school student tragically killed. 17-year-old Atlantic High School senior Roderick Hutchinson Jr. died last week after being hit by a vehicle along Big Tree Road and Old Kings Road in the Port Orange area. His sisters say he was loving, kind, and cared a lot about his family. Roderick's sister says he was testing out his scooter that he got for work when he was hit and killed. Just the day before his death, Valencia was helping her brother prepare for his special homecoming day.
He was looking so forward to homecoming. The day before his passing was my birthday, and I was spray painting his hair red to go along with his suit and his colors for homecoming.
Roderick played in the school's marching band alongside his younger sister. One of his other sisters says he was just accepted to the University of Kansas, where he planned on attending. An 8-year-old boy is expected to recover after he was hit by a car and knocked off his bike in Brevard County. Here's a map of where it happened. It happened yesterday afternoon on the corner of Ackerman Avenue and Barbara Road in Cocoa. Troopers say the 8-year-old bicyclist did not stop at the posted stop sign and rode into the intersection as the car was driving through. The boy was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. In Washington, several House and Senate Republicans have issued warnings in recent weeks about the possibility of brightly colored fentanyl, also known as rainbow fentanyl. They claim it can be given to children trick-or-treating on Halloween. But just how real is this threat? Our Washington Bureau reporter Angie Gonzalez takes a closer look. Week 10 of the high school football season saw Central Florida teams continue to fight for their playoff lives. Friday night marked the final regular season game for some teams, while others will get one more chance next week to punch their ticket into the postseason. Spectrum Sports 360's Luke Hetrick tells us a few teams have already secured, though, their playoff spots. Still ahead here on Spectrum News 13. Actions speak louder than words. How one high school football player is using his skills as a voice to inspire his teammates on and off the field.
And at 41 past the hour, I'm meteorologist Zach Covey on this Saturday. Thank you so much for starting your day with Spectrum News 13. We talk about the big weather story here at 41 past every hour. And today, we're kind of focusing what's happening out to our west. Over the state of Texas, the Ozarks of Arkansas, big, powerful storm system, courtesy of an upper-level low. If you're a fan of weather, if you're a fan of meteorology, weather maps, this is a map that you are certainly very interested in. It is the water vapor map, and just look at this beautiful comma swirl here. Rich moisture moving into parts of the mid portions of the plains, the Ozarks of Arkansas, all courtesy of that cutoff low over the state of Texas. Now, that cutoff low helps to develop a surface low, which is drawing that moisture northward from the Gulf of Mexico. This helps to create your frontal boundaries along that low as well. And that low will track its way east as we go throughout this weekend. But our rain chances remain pretty minor, only about a 10% shot today and tomorrow, because as that front moves our way, it falls apart. So the showers and storms are pretty much going to stay in Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana and not really come here. Today, it's about partly cloudy skies, an isolated shower, not from that storm system, but from an east wind. And as we go into Sunday and Monday, and as that cold front falls apart, we get a deliverance of some drier air. That means sunnier skies on our Sunday and Monday for any of those trick-or-treater plans. And if you're heading out on Halloween to trick-or-treat, Halloween looks great. Clear skies and temperatures falling into the 70s.
The world's nations have so far failed to meet a collective $100 billion climate finance goal that was set in 2009, but they are expected to meet it by next year. That's according to a new report from the governments of Canada, Germany, and the UK, released ahead of the annual UN Climate Change Conference next month. The report outlines some progress made to deliver $100 billion annually to the developing world. The money is aimed at helping countries adapt to climate change impacts and transition their economies to clean energy.
Oh, it is in fact a stacked Saturday. We are feeling great. What's up, everyone? Luke Hetrick. This will be your Sports Minute.
Take a step into this haunted and otherworldly shop. The Haunted Antique Shop in DeLand is a sight to behold and one you won't want to miss. It's all coming up on this week's Florida on a Tankful.
Partly cloudy skies, maybe a stray shower. Temperatures in the 80s. We're just stuck between two weather regimes today. It's not going to be overly sunny, but not overly rainy. Mostly sunny conditions tomorrow, though, as dry air returns and temperatures back in the 80s. There is a look at your pollen forecast.
I don't need to know where in the world Carmen Sandiego is because I like to keep tabs on where Caitlin Wilson is. Forget the haunted houses and mazes. There's an antique shop in the land that's haunted. Spectrum News 13's Caitlin Wilson takes us to this place and introduces us to the owner who says this is a must-stop spot. And of course, for more information on their shop and upcoming classes and events, be sure to head to the Spectrum News app.
I'm Allison Walker, and this week on In Focus.
We know the story of Big Pharma now. We know the overprescribing of opioids. We know Purdue Pharmaceutical and the Sackler family, and we know that 80% of the people who are now addicted to an opioid were one time legally prescribed the drug by somebody that they trusted, which created unprecedented addiction.
Yeah, drug overdoses in Florida, an eye-opening problem. And from year to year, we've seen an increase in drug-related deaths. So this week, you'll hear from those working to directly address the issue through services, policing, and legislation. Drug overdose prevention. That is on this week's In Focus, Sunday at 11:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. right here on Spectrum News 13.
I'm attorney Todd Miner, a proud supporter of the fight against breast cancer. Now, here's a look at what's happening in our community.